Tonight, on The Big Story.
All those in favor of Senator Sherwin Gatchalian as Senate President of the Republic of the Philippines, say aye. Aye. All those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Senator Sherwin Gatchalian is declared Senate President of the Republic of the Philippines.
After weeks of back and forth on who really held the Senate presidency, Win Gatchalian is elected as a chamber's new leader in a vote that not even the minority bloc challenged. And after all the leadership tug-of-war, senators mark the date, June 17, as the day they can finally start healing as an institution.
Hindi sumunod sa rules, doon lang naman kami may problema. Pero pag sumunod sa Constitution at sa rules, no problem. That's just how it is.
Every day is a fresh start, and we welcome, recognize, and congratulate the new leadership who are dear friends, who are competent public servants.
I'm very happy. It's time for healing and move on na tayo. Set aside all the differences and work again for the sake of the Filipino people.
And the CIDG does not believe the deaths of Rene Baterbonia and Divine Adili were an accident. The agency has gathered stories from eyewitnesses that say so. Good evening, I'm Ces Orenia Drilon. Senate President Sherwin Gatchalian finally secured his leadership of the upper chamber. In today's special session, the majority bloc managed to secure the 13th vote to decidedly oust SP Alan Peter Cayetano. Will today's development lead to much-needed healing among our senators? This is tonight's Big Story.
All those in favor of Senator Sherwin Gatchalian as Senate President of the Republic of the Philippines, say aye. Aye. All those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Senator Sherwin Gatchalian is declared Senate President of the Republic of the Philippines.
With this declaration after a vote via acclamation of 13 senators on June 17 special session of the Senate, the legitimacy of Senator Sherwin Gatchalian's Senate presidency has been sealed. Gatchalian, who is the upper chamber's fourth president this 20th Congress, just highlights how volatile politics in the Senate had been. And this development is no exception. Gatchalian managed to finally wrestle power from Senator Alan Peter Cayetano with the help of Senator Joel Villanueva. The lone Cayetano bloc member attended Wednesday's morning session and became the critical vote.
Sir, what made you decide? What made you decide, sir, na
Trabaho tayo. So look, saksi naman kayo dun sa nangyayari sa floor. That's all we want. That's all we want.
Yun yung naging dahilan, sir, kaya kayo...
We wanted to work, we wanted to accomplish something, we wanted to do something.
Before the morning session, Cayetano already indicated his intention to step aside, with Gatchalian's bloc clearly having the numbers. Cayetano said he already spoke with Villanueva and that he will not stand in the way if a new Senate President is elected. Cayetano added that he may leave the position of SP or Senate President but will continue to be a PS or public servant. However, he did not attend the special session called by President Marcos himself, along with ICC wanted Senator Bato de la Rosa, detained Senator Jinggoy Estrada, and Senators Robin Padilla and Mark Villar. Present, though, was the majority bloc. For Majority Leader Juan Miguel Zubiri, there is no better choice for the upper chamber's top post than Gatchalian, whom he said has shown solid characteristics as a leader.
He has consistently proven his competence, his effective leadership, and his unparalleled work ethic. Siya nga po palagi ang nagsasara ng Senado, staying late in his office even after adjournment. As a matter of fact, Mr. President, I hear complaints from your staff that hindi na po sila nakakauwi ng disenteng oras dahil overwork daw sila, overwork. At palagi nilang tinatanong sa akin, kailan ko daw siya mahahanap ng girlfriend para makauwi daw ng mas maaga.
Next on the agenda was the nomination of the next Senate President pro tempore, which has been effectively vacated by Gatchalian. Senator Panfilo Lacson nominated former Senate President Soto, which was concurred by all the senators present in the plenary. In his speech, Lacson also explained why he gave up the chairmanship of the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee.
I would also wish to put on record that I intentionally and voluntarily relinquished the chairmanship of what is known or often referred to as the most powerful committee, the Blue Ribbon, for two primary reasons. Number one, I am tired of losing old friends and creating new enemies. And number two, there are other colleagues who are equally, if not more, qualified than this humble representation to take on the job.
It was during his investigation of the flood control scandal that several government officials and lawmakers were dragged into the controversy. Among them, incumbent Senators Francis Escudero, Joel Villanueva, and Jinggoy Estrada. All three were part of the Cayetano bloc until Escudero and Villanueva joined the new 13-member majority bloc. Estrada is now in jail for a non-bailable plunder case and graft charge.
I think I will be remiss of my duty and responsibility as a senator, colleague, and friend if I didn't thank and commend our two distinguished colleagues, Senator Chis Escudero and Senator Joel Villanueva, for responding to their higher calling for this chamber, our beloved institution known as the Philippine Senate.
Senator Erwin Tulfo remains chair of the Blue Ribbon Committee, with Lacson and Senator Kiko Pangilinan as vice chairman. All senators except Escudero have also been named members of the powerful committee. Among other major committee posts approved were Tulfo as chairperson of the Committee on Energy and Social Justice, Pangilinan as chairperson of the Constitutional Amendments, Justice, and Agriculture panels, Senator Bam Aquino as lead of the Committees on Trade, Basic Education, and Science and Technology, while Senator Risa Hontiveros was named chairperson of the Committees on Health and Women and Children. Senator J.V. Ejercito is now chair of the Committee on Finance and Local Government. Soto heads the National Defense and Ethics Committees, while Zubiri was given chairmanship of the Foreign Relations and Rules Committees. Lacson is chairperson of the Ways and Means Committee. Senator Raffy Tulfo will steer Public Services and Migrant Workers panels. Senator Lito Lapid is leading Games and Amusements, and Senator Villanueva will be on top of the Higher Education and Labor Committees. Zubiri again is Majority Leader and will have as deputies Ejercito and Villanueva. The chamber also elected Lacson, Zubiri, Villanueva, Hontiveros, Soto, Raffy Tulfo, and Ejercito as members of the commission appointments. Minority senators sitting in the CA are Rodante Marcoleta, Amy Marcos, Bongo, Jinggoy Estrada, and Loren Legarda.
I congratulate Sherwin, a dedicated, disciplined, hardworking, brilliant colleague and a dear friend. So I congratulate all of them, and I'm glad na 13 ang boto, so maayos na, legal na.
Ma'am, your comment lang sa may bago na pong liderato, makakaasa po ba sila ng suporta mula sa inyo po?
Ay, gusto lang namin magtrabaho.
Ma'am, tapos na kaya yung gulo? Hopeful kayo, ma'am?
Hindi naman kami lang gugulo eh.
Hopefully, sana tapos na yung gulo, makapagtrabaho na tayo, makapagserbisyo na tayo. Ang nasasakripisyo po, ang serbisyo sa ating mga kababayan.
As for members of the majority, well, they have waited for this day. They hope the healing of the Senate as an institution has begun.
I'm very happy. It's time for healing. And move on na tayo. Set aside all the differences and work again for the sake of the Filipino people.
Yeah, press start. And sana, everybody will cooperate, start cooperating, including the members of the minority. Kasi wala na rin delulu di ba?
Kapatid mo, News 5 Mean Los Baños, we are One News.
Palace Press Officer Claire Castro congratulated Win Gatchalian in his election as Senate President. She also thanked lawmakers for heeding the President's call to work on pending bills aimed at improving services to the public.
Ang gusto ng Pangulo ay magkaroon ng kaayusan sa Senado dahil kailangan sila talaga magtrabaho. So, nasa kanila pong kamay yan. Sa ngayon po, ang obligasyon ng Pangulo ay ginawa niya. Nagpatawag po siya ng isang special session at nasa kamay na po ito ng mga senador kung kayo rin po ay tutugon sa inyong obligasyon.
At the House of Representatives, leaders say they look forward to working with Gatchalian as the Senate's new leader. For Speaker Boji D, Gatchalian is coming in at a crucial period as Congress continues to fulfill its constitutional mandate to address issues that impact the lives of Filipinos. He reiterated the House commitment to maintaining close coordination with the Senate to advance priority legislation and pursue reforms. House Majority Leader and Presidential son, Sandro Marcos, echoed these expectations.
I know how level-headed he can be. So I think that's exactly what this current political climate needs, especially there in the Senate. Level-headedness and just the need for all of us to really get back to work.
For their part, House prosecutors hope that under Gatchalian's leadership, the impeachment trial of Vice President Sara Duterte will go on as scheduled. The Senate, as an impeachment court, hopes to open the trial by July 6.
This is a welcome development, and now that the Senate has resolved the leadership issue, we also hope that the Senate can focus now with its constitutional duty to proceed with the impeachment trial without necessary delay and other distractions. So we congratulate the election of Senator Win Gatchalian as the duly elected Senate President.
The special session at the Senate has already adjourned, but there was a morning and afternoon session. Let's get more details from mobile journalist Merimon Reyes. Merimon, there were senators among the minority who were notably absent. Sino-sino sila?
Session sa Senado. Hindi natin nakita ang kahit na sino from the minority bloc or the Cayetano-led bloc. However, nung nag-suspend muna panandalian yung special session para sa pagkukonvene naman ng Commission on Appointments, doon natin nakita ang presensya ng minority senators, including Senator Rodante Marcoleta, Senator Bongo, Senator Loren Legarda, Senator Amy Marcos, na pumasok sa session hall para sa CA. Pero we also noticed na nung 3 p.m. nung nagpatuloy naman na yung special session, dahil tapos na yung sa CA, yung confirmation ng promotion ng ilang mga general o parte ng gabinete, yung mga flag bearers o kaya yung posisyon doon sa CA, hindi natin nakita si Senator Amy Marcos nor si Senator Rodante Marcoleta sa special session. Ang nakita lang natin so far is sina Senator Camille Villar, Senator Bongo, sina Senator Pia Cayetano. Pero still, Senator Robin Padilla, wala rin siya. Si Senator Alan Peter Cayetano, wala rin. Si Senator Jigo Estrada, we know nasa kustudiya siya ngayon doon sa QC City Jail. And Senator Bato de la Rosa is still at large. So iilan lang bilang lang sa daliri yung naging present kaninang minority senators. Ses.
Any explanation for Senator Robin Padilla's absence?
So far, says no response, nor reaction, nor comment ang nakukuha pa natin mula sa panig ni Senator Robin Padilla. However, we saw posts online na mukhang may special screening sa isang pelikula ang pinuntahan ni Senator Robin Padilla ngayong araw. Pero simula kanina umaga hanggang sa matapos adjourn sinidie ang session, hindi natin nakagilap itong si Senator Robin. Si Senator Mark Villar din, hindi rin siya present. And ang huling info nating nakuha from his office is that nasa ibang bansa raw si Senator Mark due to personal reasons. Pero yun last yung pinaka info na meron tayo as of this hour. Ses.
May paliwanag ba si Senator Marcoleta kung bakit CA lang ang kanyang pinuntahan at hindi yung hapon na sesyon ng Senado?
Wala, Sese. So far, walang pagpapaliwanag, pero naging present naman itong senador sa CA. And yung isa kasi, kung babalikan na lang natin yung mga lumipas na linggo, very headstrong din si Senator Marcoleta in holding the ground na ang legal na may hawak ng liderato ay si Senator Alan Peter Cayetano. And hindi raw ayon sa saligang batas yung ginawang June 3 session, and illegal daw yung naging yung power shifting during that time. Pero sa nakita naman natin kanina, na-secure ng Gatchalian block yung decisive majority na at least senators ang kailangan bumuo para makapag-elect ng Senate officers. Kaya naman, aabangan na lang natin sa mga susunod na araw o linggo kung ano ang manifestation naman ngayon ng dynamics o relasyon ng mga senador sa isa't isa. Ses.
And in the afternoon session, there was a heated exchange between Senators Pia Cayetano and Risa Ontiveros. So this measure is about protecting patients' rights. However, Pia Cayetano had authored an earlier bill about 15 years ago. Tell us more about the exchange of the two senators.
Says yung unang part kasi, nung ma-approve na to on second reading, ang huli kasing nasabi ni na Senator Risa, wala na raw nakapila for amendments, pero doon nag-start yung tension between the two senators nang sinabi ni Senator Pia, nandun naman daw yung pangalan niya, so bakit hindi raw nabigyan ng oras. Pero nag-yield din naman na pagpatuloy yung kanilang pag-uusap tungkol doon sa bill on hospital detentions. Ito kasi yung anti-hospital detention bill. Pero ang isang kine-question ni Senator Pia is yung pag-exempt sa mga indigenous na tao sa pag-execute ng promissory letter. Kasi yung kine-question ni Senator Pia, paano raw yung epekto nito sa mga maliliit na ospital, sino raw ang magbabayad. Pero natapos naman yung usapin dito ng isuggest ni SP Gatchalian na tignan yung paggamit na lang ng lengguwahe para maging malinaw ito. Dahil nga ang nire-raise si Senator Pia, paano raw pagkakuwari natanggal yung execution ng promissory letters, paano yung epekto ito sa business, tsaka yung pagbabayad daw, sino ang magbabayad sa mga pasyenteng ito. And ang sabi rin naman ni Senator Risa, even mga nanggagaling sa middle classes na mga tao, nagkakaroon din daw ng problema pagdating dyan. So far yun yung nakita nating pangyayari from the exchange between these two senators. Ses.
Tumungo naman tayo sa mga preparasyon para sa impeachment trial. Talagang definite na ba na ang presiding officer sa trial ay si Senator Cheese Escudero?
Yes, according to Senator Ping Lacson, ang nakikita ng majority bloc, mas maganda raw na si Senator Cheese ang magsisilbi bilang presiding officer, and plano nila itong ma-formalize kapag nag-convene sila as an impeachment court once again sa July. And nakikita nila kasi raw sa expertise, sa kaalaman, sa experience, lalo't abogado rin si Senator Cheese Escudero, mas okay daw siya. Pero nung tinanong namin ulit kanina si Senator Risa kung sure ball na ba to, final na ba ito, sabi niya, malalaman daw yan kapag nag-convene na sila ulit as an impeachment court kasi hindi raw siya usapin na bilang legislative body kundi bilang senator judges at impeachment court. Pero nung natanong natin kung sakaling si Senator Cheese ang magiging presiding officer, ano ang magiging papel ni Senator Gatchalian? Sabi, ang huling sinabi ni Senator Risa, bilang senator judge. So we'll wait kung sakaling mangyayari man yan. And ang malinaw rin sa ngayon, bukas, sisimulan na yung pre-trial conference. Pero closed door meeting ito kung saan magkakaroon ng marking, ng ebidensya, ng witnesses, yung paglalatag ng timeline para maging maayos yung daloy ng impeachment trial proper. Ses.
All right, thank you for your comprehensive reporting, mobile journalist Merimon Reyes. And now, let's get insights from a former Senate President joining us tonight, ex-SP, Coco Pimentel. Welcome to the big story, Senator.
Thank you, Ses. Magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat.
Senator, alam nyo na, nadaanan nyo na itong mga changes in leadership, and those who are watching refer to this as the season finale na daw ng Senate Flicks. Sa tingin ninyo, ito na nga ba finale na at they will buckle down to work, or it's still a shaky hold on the Senate presidency by Win Gatchalian?
It's actually 13-11, di ba? So there's still a big minority, but we should welcome the existence of a minority. And the bigger the minority, the better. But nakita, I saw their attitude earlier today. So Senators Pia, Loren, Bongo attended because they all want to work. Ganyan naman po ang karamihan ng mga senador. They really want to work kasi they each have personal advocacies.
Gaano pong kahirap maging Senate President? When it was held by Senator Soto, there were complaints, hindi daw siya paalaga. Paano po bang pasayahin ang mga nasa kampo ninyo based on your experience?
mahirap maging Senate President. But I think mahirap maging leader in any organization because there are different personalities. And of course, there are also sensitivities and egos to deal with, di ba? So, and because of the very weak political party system in the Philippines, you have to deal with the individual person. So you should be very careful because of sensitivities. So mahirap. But that's part of our culture in the Philippines.
And the SC petition of the Cayetano bloc, is it rendered moot by what happened today?
I have not read the petition at all, but for the issues, kunyari, the petition raises the issue of who is the Senate President. That particular issue, I think, has been rendered moot. But if the petition raises other issues, then pwede posibleng buhay pa yon.
How about yung numbers kasi? The Constitution says all, so there is a presumption that you have to count 24. But there is a possibility na malalagasan pa ang mga senators because of pending cases. How do
Correct.
you see this? Ano sa tingin nyo, kailangan bang i-adjust ang bilang, for instance, what will constitute the vote in the impeachment trial? How do you count?
I always respect the opinions, the legal reasoning of former Senior Associate Justice Antonio Carpio. And he is the one developing this interpretation or legal theory. So I'm listening because I started with the belief that when the Constitution says all the members of the Senate, we count all those being called in the roll call. Diba? So as of the moment, I think if they do a roll call, there will be 24 names in the roll call.
That was your previous belief, but you've...
Yes, but I'm trying to, I'm listening and keeping an open mind to the approach, this new theory. I think the first time I heard this was from Justice Carpio, and I think Congresswoman Luistro has also parang is adopting such an interpretation.
And
Let us see, because the reasoning, if you go back to the reasoning in one of the arguments, the well reasoned arguments in the 1949 Avellino versus Cuenco case, they talk about you only count those who are subject to the coercive power of the Senate.
Right.
Because this is linked with the power of a smaller group of senators to order the quotation marks natin arrest of the absentee senators. Yun eh, medyo konektado yung powers na yun eh. So if you cannot do that because the person is a senator is abroad, then do not count him. So
Or in jail.
It makes sense. So but then it doesn't really only apply to being abroad. What if you are under detention, legal detention by court order? That you are also beyond the coercive power of the Senate. So let us keep an open mind. But as I've stated earlier, I'm still sticking to my original position that all the members of the Senate, we have to count the names being called in the roll call.
So you mean 24?
As of the, you notice it, kunyari sa next session nila, you count. Ilan yun? Kung 24 yun, then all the members must be 24.
But Senator Jinggoy Estrada has already been suspended by the Sandigan Bayan.
But is he still a senator?
Yes.
Yes. So he will be in the roll call.
Okay.
But he will be marked absent. Yes, he will be marked absent. So his suspension will not excuse his absence. He will be marked absent.
This is something that may be brought again before the Supreme Court, actually.
After now, when there is already a justiciable controversy,
And what
we cannot just go to the Supreme Court and consult for opinion. So kailangan there should really be now a clash in the ground or on the ground of facts, no? And then dyan yung facts, and then there are two competing positions, legal positions.
Now, you were a senator judge during the Corona impeachment trial. Tell us about your experience there.
Well, it was a long trial, and then in my opinion, we pursued so many topics when we should have just focused on one particular ground because in an impeachment, if there are, let's say, 5 grounds, and the impeached official is already found guilty with sufficient number in one ground, let's say the first ground, there's no need to pursue all the other grounds. So my suggestion is they should I think in the impeachment of VP Sara Duterte, there are 4, if I'm not mistaken, 4 grounds. So mag-focus na lang sila what are the 2 strongest grounds, and then so that we will know if you cannot get a conviction in the strongest ground, then that's it.
All right. But the question that's uppermost now is who should preside. The Constitution is not specific when it comes to the VP. And now the majority bloc is inclined to appoint or choose Senator Chis Escudero because he is a lawyer. What is your belief?
No problem.
Do you need a lawyer, really, to preside?
You do not need a lawyer, but you respect the choice of the majority. If the default scenario should be, common sense tells us that the presiding officer during the start should be the Senate President. And then with some formalities, with a motion, then the Senate President can graciously give the chair to the choice of the majority. And I believe he will be siding with the majority. It will not be against his will. It will be pursuant also to his own wishes.
Well, because of his position in the previous year, when they were arguing over what the meaning of forthwith was, it may come under some controversy. The choice of Chis Escudero, I mean.
Yes. Kami yun nag-argue sa forthwith.
Di ba? Oo nga pala. Yes.
So,
oo nga.
Actually, you could even say that Chis is objective. Because his past actions can be interpreted that he was favoring the impeached official. But now, we can say that there is a substantial number which we cannot accuse to be favoring the impeached official. So these are also objective minds. So I think
he's a good choice.
That's also a positive towards the choice of Senator Chis Escudero as the presiding officer. But it is not necessary. It's not necessary that it be a lawyer, the presiding officer be a lawyer. I am confident SP Sherwin Gatchalian can do it, and he can preside well over the impeachment proceedings because you can.
Why not him? He's respected by both sides. Why not him? Why not him?
It could be him, but if he wants to relinquish the chair to a lawyer, and the majority will back up the decision, and that is also the decision of majorities, it will be implemented. It will be respected and implemented, and nothing unusual with that, or nothing extraordinary or questionable with that.
So, ngayon, hindi kayo nag-succeed noon nung nasa Senado pa kayo. What do you think now? do you see the impeachment trial happening?
Yes, di ba July 6, I think.
Well, there
And
can
and I think there is some preliminary
tomorrow is a
activity.
pre-trial
So
conference.
pre-trial, they call it the pre-trial. So looks like it will now push through.
Now, let's go back to Alan Peter Cayetano. Do you see him continuing his boycott? He didn't show
Sana
up today.
hindi. Sana hindi. You know why? Because I believe he is still, the minority has chosen him to be the minority leader. So the minority leader must always also be present. Okay? So he must be present all the time so that because he is the default voice of the minority. So when the minority leader raises his or her hand, the presiding officer must give priority to listen to the side of the minority. So I hope that he will attend 100% of the sessions.
All right. Now, going back to what you said, there must be a justiciable event that
Controversy.
would controversy that would trigger the SC to decide on the matter of the numbers. Will this be triggered by when the impeachment trial will or the senator judges will vote on whether to convict or not the VP? Would this constitute
I think that
a justiciable controversy?
I think those are the facts, no? Those are that is the scenario which could possibly give us the factual situation which will give us a justiciable issue or controversy. And it will be in the controversy will be in the count, whether the count
Yes.
is sufficient to convict. Okay? Kung acquittal kasi, wala na yun. I mean, kunyari, malaki yung number ng not guilty, tapos na yun. But
hindi na
let us
kailangan.
say, I think yun. That's the combination of facts which I believe could give rise to this justiciable controversy.
However, and finally, Senator, there are those of the view that a conviction is not really necessary, but really more for the public to know the extent of the evidence that the prosecution has, is really the aim of the panel.
If that's their aim, that's their call. But the purpose here is to really have a trial. Sabi ng Constitution says.
Hindi kasi wala po yung boto eh.
Ah?
Looking at the complexion of the Senate, wala yung boto. They don't have the numbers.
No, but we have to reach that point where we will now call on the senators to publicly state their judgment, their position, whether guilty or not guilty, convicted or acquitted. So that's the responsibility naman of the senator judge. So hintayin natin yun. So I mean, let's not accuse the prosecution that they only want to show the evidence to the public. Of course, they are prosecuting because they want a conviction. But then, if their effort should result in an acquittal, then accept it because that's part of the constitutional process. There are two constitutional outcomes in an impeachment. Number one is guilty or convicted or not guilty or acquitted. Dalawa. And the Constitution allows this. So tanggapin po natin yon. If it's a conviction, tanggapin ng taong bayan. If it's an acquittal, tanggapin din ng taong bayan.
Senator, nami-miss nyo ba ang Senado pag pinapanood nyo yung mga pangyayari? Yung Senate flicks na tinatawag.
Actually, ngayon hindi.
Because
busy tayo sa pamilya.
Any chance that you will return to the Senate? Are you going to are you going to try again?
Well, I'm qualified in 2028, so we will keep our minds open for that, Ses.
We thank you for sharing your insights with us, former Senate President Coco Pimentel. This is the big story on One News. Next are updates on the Aurora tragedy and this challenge from the CIDG chief.
Man up, be man enough to face the investigation in the interest of justice and equity para doon sa dalawang players which you call as your brother. Because if you're talking about the yung battle cry of Bebop, band of brother, if you're a brother, hindi ka tatalikod. So help us also. Help the family attain justice.
Yung may family.
Alright. Sige.
Pare, first bachelor senator. And the members are Senator Pia Ontiveros, Senator Kiko Pangilinan, Senator Chis Escudero, Senator Erwin Tulfo, Senator Rafi Tulfo, and Senator Joel, what did they say? Risa Ontiveros. What did they say? Ay, nako, wala pa si Pia, hindi pa siya senator.
Senate Majority Leader Mig Zubiri there during light moments earlier at the upper chamber's special session. Mr. Zubiri took note of Win Gatchalian being the first bachelor Senate President, and later he mistook journalist Pia Ontiveros for her sister, Senator Risa Ontiveros. There was a special session as well at the House of Representatives, again as directed by President Bongbong Marcos before he left for Russia. 213 congressmen were present today, more than enough to constitute a quorum. The lower house also reported it had already approved all of the bills mentioned by Marcos. These included measures on anti-political dynasties, assistance to individuals in crisis situations, and cabinet, military, and foreign service appointments. In other news, more players of the Ateneo Blue Eagles come forward
and tell their stories to the CIDG and the NBI. That's as law enforcement digs deeper into the Dipaculao Aurora tragedy that claimed the lives of cagers Rene Baterbonia and Divine Adili. Gio Robles with the report.
Not an accident. This was the initial finding of the PNP Criminal Investigation and Detection Group on the drowning of student athletes Rene Baterbonia and Divine Adili. The tragedy struck during the Ateneo Blue Eagles team building activity in Dipaculao, Aurora on June 8th. According to CIDG Director Robert Morico II, there's reason to believe the players were deliberately taken to a secluded area of the resort so the establishment's management will not be able to see them. Morico declined to give details for now, but he said resigned head coach Tab Baldwin is key in resolving the case.
Man up, be man enough to face the investigation in the interest of justice and equity para doon sa dalawang players which you call as your brother, because if you're talking about the yung battle cry of Bebop, band of brother, if you're a brother, you hindi ka tatalikod. So help us also. Help the family attain justice.
On Wednesday morning, 7 out of 10 Ateneo players summoned by the CIDG came forward. They were with Baterbonia and Adili when the rising basketball players met their demise. According to the players, they were made to walk and jog in place and while in the water as part of leg strength exercises. Where they stood at the time, the water level was uneven and most of them were 700 meters away from the resort while deep into training. Then, rip currents came, which they said they have been warned about beforehand. Some of the participants do not know how to swim. Apart from these stories, the CIDG expects to hear more in order to paint a clearer and more complete picture of the events that led to the drowning of Baterbonia and Adili. The law enforcement agency is expecting other players and members of the coaching staff to turn up in their office on Thursday, June 18. And by Friday, they want to hear from Baldwin as well as Ateneo's first responders. The CIDG wants the resigned men's basketball coach to present drone footage showing the team's formation before and after the incident. If Baldwin fails to appear as he did earlier in the week, Morico says they might cite him for obstruction of justice and contempt. These sanctions will have to be ordered by the courts. At the National Bureau of Investigation, Ateneo team members also appeared for a parallel investigation. Among them, Kiefer Alas and Sam Reyes, who had earlier given broadcast journalist Pia Ontiveros their account on the incident. With them were Blue Eagle alumni Lebron Nieto and Kyle Ong. NBI Director Melvin Matibag assures the resignation of Baldwin and team manager Epo Kimpo will not affect the outcome of the investigation. Further, they learned Kimpo was out of the country when the tragic team building activity happened. But as one of the team's leaders, that does not automatically absolve him from the probe.
Sabi ko nga sa kanila, the investigation will lead to somebody being responsible. Pinaliwanag ko naman sa kanila, we are here to seek the truth, no? And I assure them that it will be handled fairly and professionally, no? So, yung participation nila will be very material to the result of the investigation being conducted by the Bureau.
Matibag also told Storycon on One News they hope to finish all interviews by Friday and come up with a report on the Aurora tragedy by next week. For now, the Department of Justice has approved the requested Immigration Lookout Bulletin Order or ILBO against Baldwin and Kimpo. Also on Immigration Watch are assistant coaches Sandro Soriano, Reynaldo Jacinto, and Dean Castaño. At this point, the DOJ is also not ruling out the Ateneo management's possible culpability.
At dito papasok yung obligasyon at responsibilidad ng school authorities. Curricular man o non-extracurricular yung activities. Tulad nito, lumalabas sa lahat ng information sa atin. It's a university acknowledged activity. So tinitingnan po natin. Of course, titingnan kung yung liability Liability ng eskwelahan, liability nung involved, liability ng coach. Sino bang involved dun sa activity? May kapabayaan ba? Meron bang direkta na aksyon? Meron bang active o meron bang pagkukulang sa dapat ay pag-iingat na ginawa niya? Sa pagpili po ng lugar, ang pinili bang lugar ay sobrang peligroso. Bakit nyo dyan dinala?
Kapatid, for News 5, Gio Robles, we are One News.
We are hitting pause on the hard news. Next, we have Tom Hanks, Tim Allen, and Taylor Swift. Stay tuned.
Be honest. Be honest. Be kind. You got to be there. Presence.
I think that it would be really awesome if they thought of somebody that they had amazing memories with that they haven't seen in a long time, or someone that they miss.
I think I will be remiss of my duty and responsibility as a senator, colleague, and friend if I didn't thank and commend our two distinguished colleagues, Senator Chis Escudero and Senator Joel Villanueva, for responding to their higher calling for this chamber, our beloved institution known as the Philippine Senate. Higher than their friendships, their affiliations, and every individual member of this body, even higher than themselves.
Suportahan niyo, ma'am, yung bagong leadership po?
May 13, di ba? Common sense, di ba? What's in the rules? What's in the Constitution? When you have 13, yun lang. So, kung hindi sumunod sa rules, doon lang naman kami may problema. Pero pag sumunod sa Constitution at sa rules, no problem. That's just how it is.
Every day is a fresh start, and we welcome, recognize, and congratulate the new leadership who are dear friends, who are competent public servants, and we in the minority, because I remain to be in the minority, will collaborate for the good of the Filipino people.
I'm very happy. It's time for healing and move on na tayo. Set aside all the differences and work again for the sake of the Filipino people.
Majority rules, yan naman po. This is a collegial body. Tapos na po. So let's move on with the new leadership, with the new majority. This is democracy. Ganun naman talaga.
And as promised, we have more stories. Here are the day's other headlines from mobile journalist Arles de los Santos.
President Marcos landed in Kazan past 7 a.m. local time to attend the ASEAN-Russia Commemorative Summit. Marcos will co-chair the summit, which is marking 35 years of dialogue relations. The Philippine chief executive will also sit down with his Russian counterpart, Vladimir Putin, in time for the 50th anniversary of diplomatic ties between Manila and the Kremlin. Caretakers while the president is away are Executive Secretary Ralph Recto, Labor Secretary Francis Tolentino, and Agrarian Reform Secretary Conrado Estrella.
For over 5 decades, our bilateral ties have steadily deepened across trade, education, culture, agriculture, energy, science, and above all, through the sustained bonds between our people. We look forward to building on these foundations and opening new avenues of cooperation for the future.
In yet another war of words, Palace Press Officer Claire Castro shot back at Vice President Sara Duterte for saying this on Independence Day.
At hindi ko din gusto yon. Hindi ko gusto agawin yung posisyon ni Bongbong Marcos. Gusto ko makita ng taong bayan hanggang sa dulo kung gaano ka walang hiya si BBM.
So, sa sinasabi niyang walang age, siguro mas maganda na siya mismo ang humarap sa salamin at malaman niya kung sino ba talaga ang walang age. Kasi sumasalamin ang pagiging walang age sa mga gawain ng kanyang ama.
Meantime, 5 of fugitive ex-lawmaker Zaldico's alleged bagmen went to the office of the Ombudsman on Wednesday, June 17. This is for the continuation of the agency's fact-finding investigation into the flood control scandal. None of them, though, spoke to the media. The Ombudsman said it is too early to say if the supposed former soldiers' testimonies are sufficient enough to bring a case to court. The bagmen implicated new names in their so-called Maleta scheme, including Senator Chis Escudero and COMELEC Chair George Garcia. Garcia has since vehemently denied the allegation and threatened to sue. The death toll in last week's 7.8 magnitude earthquake has risen to 68 as of June 17, or 9 days after the catastrophe. 33 people remain missing while 1,339 have been injured. Nearly 20,000 residents are still seeking shelter across 45 evacuation centers, with many others displaced. Mindanao continues to be rocked with aftershocks, including a 5.2 magnitude tremor originating from Balut Island in Davao Occidental. Kapatid Arles de los Santos, we are One News.
Tom Hanks, Tim Allen, and yes, Taylor Swift too. Here's the interview that's a Philippine and News 5 exclusive, and MJ Marfori got it.
Dream interview? One News hit the jackpot, as we exclusively got a chat with Hollywood icons Tom Hanks and Tim Allen, the voices behind Woody and Buzz Lightyear in Toy Story 5. For more than 3 decades, the two have shared one of the most beloved film franchises of all time. So we had to ask, what's the secret to their lasting friendship?
It's been too long, cowboy. It's all about connections. You never let go of those connections. Be honest. Be honest. Be kind. Wow. Why is he so smart? You gotta be there. Presence.
And according to Hanks, when Toy Story first hit theaters in 1995, it changed the world of animation forever. The film made history as the world's first fully computer-animated feature film. And since then, generations of audiences have grown up alongside Woody, Buzz Lightyear, and their unforgettable adventures. Now in Toy Story 5, the beloved toys face a very modern challenge because if they once competed with other toys, this time they're up against technology. Enter LilyPad, a high-tech device that captures the attention of the child Bonnie. And in the process, the film explores the value of play, friendship, and imagination in an age dominated by screens. Tom Hanks hoped the story will serve as an eye-opener for families facing the same real-life struggle.
There is no substitute for playing with somebody else. a game that you are sharing, or just an imaginative thing. I think one of the great things about our current Toy Story movie is the import of those horses that are up on the shelf for someone that every one of them has a personality. And you don't have that in your life, and all you have is some version of, Brick Breaker, you Brick Breaker, how about that? Or, Minecraft or whatever it is. You're really missing, it was on the BlackBerry. Do you remember BlackBerry? You really are missing out on one of the pleasures of being alive, and that is play.
For Hanks, nothing can replace human connection, shared play, and the power of imagination. And like many of us, one of the stars who grew up with Toy Story is none other than Taylor Swift. Now part of the Toy Story 5 journey, Swift is helping amplify the film's message about friendship, connections, and the people who leave a lasting impact in our lives.
I think that it would be really awesome if they thought of somebody that they had amazing memories with that they haven't seen in a long time, or someone that they miss, knowing that that person could come back into their life, or just the feeling that like sometimes people's paths diverge, and that doesn't mean that that's the last time that you get to feel those memories or know that person. And sometimes when you look back on your childhood, those memories, that's special in itself.
A message that continues to resonate with Toy Story fans across generations. Toy Story 5 opens in Philippine cinemas today. MJ Marfori, we are One News.
And those are the big stories this midweek. I'm Cesar Reña Drilon, kapatid. We are One News, your side, all the time. Have a good night.